Hey everyone, how about here? Been a video on Dragon Ball Z Dokkan Battle. In this video, we're going to be doing our global full breakdown and some fun little team builds for the Dokkan Festival exclusive God Topo. So with that, if you're new to my channel, like, subscribe, comment below, do all that good stuff. Let's go ahead and dive right in, and as usual, we'll start with the card arts. Nothing all that special here. The SSR is okay. The TOR actually looks really nice with that red aura, and then of course got Topo in the background, but I think all of us would agree it would have been nice just to have a standalone God Topo with this card art available, on your character screen, right? So I love this card art. It looks incredible. And, I guess we'll get one of these in the future, a standalone God Topo. Technically, we do have one in a banner unit, the STR one. But, I've been saying this for years, right? You can get a full power Broly standalone unit. Nope, we get a transformation one. We're going to get a Gogeta Blue standalone. Nope, we get a transformation one. So I don't know if they're just literally saving those for the 20th anniversary, but hopefully we'll get a Dokkan Festival exclusive or an LR God Topo in the future. Now let's go ahead and break down this unit here. This unit here is kind of back to normal when it comes to stats, right? You have 17,000 for HP, you have 16,388 for attack, and then a little over 11,000 for defense here. We've been looking at, LR stats for quite some time, it seems like, but back to normal, Dokkan Festival exclusive numbers there. Would have been nice to have a little bit higher on everything, but he makes it up with everything else. The leader skill here was an interesting leader skill. I thought it was a tournament participant's main leader, but it ended up actually being a special pose focused leader. This is a interesting teams that you can really build amongst these two categories here. Now this is a double triple leader skill. It does have the 170% for special pose and tournament participants, but with the 30% is going to be boosted for Defenders of Justice, Space Traveling Warriors, and Final Trump card. And in reality, the 200% options you have are very limited comparable to other leaders in the game. Given that, you also have the 12 key super attack here. Is greatly raises attack and defense for one turn, causes immense damage to the enemy. Nothing all that special. Here's really where the special comes in. The passive skill here, you get a reduces damage received by 11% for the rest of the battle, so that's really nice there. Guards against all attacks for 3 turns when there are 2 or more special pose or Defenders of Justice category allies on the team at the character's entry turn. And again, you're generally going to be running a lot of teams with all that. You have attack and defense 200%, and then plus an additional attack 150% when performing a super attack. You do have reduction of damage received by 20%, flat out, no restriction. Then your orb changer, you change int key spheres to rainbow key spheres if HP is 50% or more at the start of the turn. And then here's where it gets interesting. This is a Dokkan Festival exclusive support unit, which is always nice to see here. Special pose, Defenders of Justice, category allies, key +1, and attack and defense 30%. So built-in support is very, very strong. And then you are a position unit. So first attacker is going to be the strongest. So as a first position unit, you're going to get plus an additional defense 200%, guard, and then defense 50% after receiving an attack. So if you plan on running this unit here at first position, technically, you kind of don't even need this. I guess you're going to miss out on the reduced damage by 11%. And but you don't really need the guard if you're running in first position. Now, if you're not running in first position, you're a floater or a second position here, you only get additional attack and defense 100% when performing a super attack. That's it. So this is super strong as a defensive mechanic there, and most of the time you are going to be running this as the first position unit. You do have an active skill. This is the transformation into God Topo. It transforms, can be activated starting from the 4th turn at the start of the battle when there is a special pose or Defenders of Justice category ally attacking the same turn, or the 6th turn of the start of the battle. Now, you do lose some features, but I think overall you are a lot stronger and more powerful when you're in God form, and we'll talk about that in a second here. Link skills, they're okay. Supreme Warrior, Tough and Nails, Shocking Speed, Hero of Justice, Signature Pose, Tournament Power, Fierce Battle. And then you're on a bunch of categories here, including Universal Survivor Saga, Realm of Gods, Tournament, Transformation Boost, Final Trump card, Special Pose, Universal 11, Space Giant Warriors, Defenders of Justice, Master Evolution, tournament participants, and super bosses. Super bosses, of course, being important, that we need more and more on that team. So ultimately, once you use this unit here and then you transform, you go into God Topo, and God Topo is pretty godly. So massively raises attack and then raises defense for 1 turn, causes immense damage to enemy. Your unconditional attack and defense and key is key plus 3, attack and defense 300%. You have an additional 250% when attacking, additional 100% when receiving attack and defense, and then you still change your int key spheres to rainbow key spheres. You do just guard against all attacks unconditionally here. And then here's the interesting thing about this unit here. You have damage reduction of 80%. Once you transform, it's 80%. And then every time you get hit, right, every time damage is given to you, you're going to lose 8% damage restriction, no more than 60%. So the lowest you have here is 20% damage mitigation. It's going to take you 8 hits. So if there's an enemy that hits you 8 times, that's when you'll lose 60% of your damage reduction, and then you're kind of just sitting there with 20%, which is still strong with guarding and all this other additional boost here. But at 80%, you're not taking any damage, right? So this is where the interesting thing about this unit here is you don't really need dodge here, but dodge is going to be very, very helpful on this unit because of this mechanic on here. So I think a lot of people are putting in as evasion as the hidden potential, and then you kind of want to max that out because it is going to be very, very strong. If you don't get hit, you dodge and you continue to keep this damage mitigation. So you do have an active skill here in the Sphere of Destruction. It massively raises attack temporarily and causes ultimate damage to enemy, and then all attacks become critical hits from the rest of the battle, which is so broken. That is absolutely broken there. So very, very strong, and then can be activated from the 6th turn of the start of the battle. So even though you transform in the 4th turn to God Topo, you do have to wait until the 6th turn before you can actually use the active skill here. Then you can get guaranteed crits for the rest of the battle. Link skills stay the same except for 2. They change. You have Hero Justice and Signature Pose goes to Solid Support and Godly Power, and of course categories stay the same as well. So let's go ahead and now break into some team builds here. So let's go ahead and switch on over to that. Alrighty, so let's start with Special Pose first, because again, I did mention when this unit came out, I was like, okay, great, it's going to be tournament participants. We didn't know like a bunch of Universal Survival Saga units were going to be coming out in the Tech UI Goku and then the AGL Jiren, right? So I was like, okay, this is going to be interesting. This could be a different team than the 17-18. But little that I know, Special Pose was the main focus. So this is a very interesting team here. Now, again, I probably wouldn't run it this way, but I just wanted to put in that. Look at all the crazy support you get. There's 6 out of 7 units here that support each other. The only person that doesn't support is Dispo. And if Dispo provided some support, everybody supports each other, which would be absolutely wild here. So when you're running a special pose team, there are units here that you probably don't want to use, like Ginyu Force and stuff like that. But ultimately, the reason why I'm just showing you this here is it is an option to just run massive support. And Jiren's not on Special Pose. Just keep that in mind. If Jiren was on Special Pose, you would have a much stronger Special Pose team. But ultimately, you want to kind of build a hybrid team, not just a standalone Special Pose. But this is still kind of would be a fun team to run if you wanted to mess around with it. Now, if you're going to combine everything together, this is kind of where the tournament participant units on here isn't as strong as if you're going to be running it on Universal Survival Saga, right? So on this team here, because of Defenders of Justice, Space Giant Warriors, and Final Trump card are the 30% boost for 200%. If you look at UI Goku, MUI Goku, and Evolution Vegeta, and then even 17 and 18 here, this turns into a 170% majority team versus a 200% team here. Now, the reason why I do have 17, 18 here, you do have the opportunity to have that extra boost in terms of having Goku on the main rotation. So, but anyway, yeah, this is kind of an interesting team to run. So I think primarily, if you're going to run this team here, using Tech Jiren or AGL Jiren if he were to come out, and that int Easy A topo unit, right? He is going to get his Easy A, and when he does, he's actually a great unit to run on this team here, even in the main rotation, because when another Universe 11 character is attacking in the same turn, he gets massive boosts, and he's unrunnable when you don't have another Universe 11 unit at least running in the main rotation, right? So because if you don't have a Universe 11, he's a sitting duck, and he's absolutely worthless. But with the Universe 11 unit, he's actually very, very, very good. In this case, I just put the UI Gokus as floaters on here, and of course the Gammas are just in your major support unit, being that they support not only superheroes but Defenders of Justice. And then what's the other one that the Gammas support? Defenders of Justice. Is it Special Pose they do? I don't think so. It's Joined Forces. Yeah, superheroes, Joined Forces, and Defenders of Justice. And of course the units that you see there are Defenders of Justice. So another team that you can kind of do a variation on is when AGL Jiren comes out, and we don't know exactly when that's going to happen. It might come out as early as next week, but which would be crazy if they did that. You can run a Topo and Jiren team, and this would be actually a great team to run. And again, I'm using Topo here in the first position because if you run him as a floater, he loses all that defensive mechanic, but you still can run him as a floater, if needed, right? So I wish the Easy A Jiren ended up being a first position unit, so you can run different types of rotations in terms of this. But both Jirens are second position floaters, or second position or floaters. So you might run something like this here. Now, of course, you can take the MUI Goku and UI Gokus out here, and you can add, the Gammas for extra support, or even Gamma 1 for support there, and make the team look very similar to the Special Pose. So, but this team runs, fairly well, and can do a lot of damage. But technically, you're able to only run this team right now, unless we are going to get this AGL LR Jiren sooner than we think. Another team that, of course, you want to focus then on is, building your Universe 11 team. And it's very close, right? This team is very close to being very, 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 very good as a full Universe 11. You're just missing one unit. However, JP just ended up getting Easy A to Margarita, and then the other new unit that came out is Universe 11. And they're usable, right? They're usable as floaters, and in this case can at least well round the team of Universe 11, since we are kind of missing a pivotal unit on here. But of course you can run any other floaters that are non-Universe 11, but technically won't be a Universe 11 team. So it's a very small category, Universe 11, but it has its own category. I don't know why. Again, it's so small. It's interesting they ended up doing that. Anyway, now I do have, so maybe in the future, I think I'm going to do this every single time I do a full breakdown now, because we are merging, so I won't have to do two of them. I'm just going to do one of them. It's just Global and JP. Is a red zone or blue zone, or at least a challenge team. And here's my challenge team for you guys, if you guys want to mess around and comment in the comment section below on which red zone or blue zone you end up completing. And this is a floater Topo with Ginyu, and having basically floater units as main rotations. You have the Gammas, Gamma 1 and the Gammas, and then you have Gotenks, the Super Easy A Super Saiyan 3 Gotenks and the Transforming Super Saiyan 3 Gotenks in the main rotation. All right, so we will see if you can deal with some of these stages. I don't expect you to be doing like the hardest of the hards. Like, I don't expect you to be running this with Cell Max, right? But if you can complete this, let me know in the comment section below. This is my challenge team for you guys in a special. This is basically a Special Pose team. So that's your challenge team, and I am just going to talk quickly about the Universal Survivor Saga with LR AGL Jiren. If this were to come out, you're able to run a very strong team at 200% with Universal Survivor Saga and Universe 11 here, and this team is massively strong. So it's interesting if I'm going to merge this with best teams with LR Tech UI Goku, because you're running Realm of Gods and Universal Survival Saga, but this is only Universal Survival Saga, and of course that small category in Universal 11. But yeah, it's a very, very strong team to run. But if you want to run a God Topo main rotation, you can run this in main rotation as well with that AGL Jiren, right? So whether it's a support unit, which again, as a floater, it's not as strong defensively, but in the first main rotation there, it can work out very well. So just something to think about when that unit comes out. I just wanted to, show you guys that now. And yeah, that's pretty much this unit here is a full breakdown. So hopefully you guys enjoy kind of going over some different combinations and the team builds there. And if you're new to my channel, like, subscribe, comment below, do all that good stuff. Thank you all for watching. Keep on Dokkaning. We'll catch you next time. Later.